Just in 10 minutes, let us have a quick look on using calculation groups in Power BI with the Tabular Editor. If you use similar measures such as year to date for profit, year to date for revenue and the like, you need to know about calculation groups so that you can reduce the number of measures that you will be using in your model. If you have not subscribed to this channel, please do subscribe. In this demonstration, we are going to speak about a Tabular Editor. Imagine a tool that can help you create and edit Power BI datasets outside Power BI. That is Tabular Editor. Tabular Editor is a powerful and useful tool that every Power BI developer should certainly start to work with. It is available as a free version as well as a licensed version. The free version TE2 can be downloaded from GitHub repository. The latest version as on date of this recording is version 2.21.1 that can be downloaded from GitHub. The much advanced commercial version is TE3 that can be downloaded from tabulareditor.com. Before we dive deep into the discussion, let us have an idea about what we are going to see. Let us assume that I have a product named Product A. I want to know certain details about it, such as its current price, what was the price last year, what is the variance, and so on. Another user in my company will need similar information about another product, let us say product B. So I'm going to make a statement as below. This is, then there is a placeholder called name of product. I'm not mentioning product A, I'm not mentioning product B, I'm just providing a placeholder. And its current price is X, last year price is Y, and variance is Z or Z. So this placeholder in which if I fill product A, and then I'll be able to see all other information related to product A. And if the other user who wanted to know about product B can fill the placeholder with the product B, he or she can see what is needed for their requirement. In this demonstration, I'll be using a date table named CY and will create a field parameter. In case you want to check how to create similar calendar tables or date tables, please check my video part 2. In case you want to know about field parameters, please check my video JTM-14. This is the scenario. I have a table called Asia in which there is a column called profit. And then I have created a base measure called total profit, which gives me the sum of Asia table's profit column values. On this particular measure called total profit, I have created another measure called last year profit using the calculate function and the same period last year function, in which I am using the calendar table and its date column. I am also creating yet another measure called profit year over year growth and then pull all the values inside a table. Similarly, I do have a column called revenue, for which I have a measure called total revenue, and then last year revenue, and then revenue year over year. Then I'm pulling all of them into another table. Couple of more measures such as profit month to date, profit quarter to date, profit year to date, and so on. Then I can create 3 more measures for revenue also, which means that this model is having so many number of measures, and our intention is to avoid this. Instead, we should learn to use calculation groups. When you use a calculation group and field parameters, you can choose a measure from the field parameter slicer, as you can see in the screen. You can choose what additional information you want to see for the selected measure from the calculation group's list of items which are given inside another slicer. This avoids cluttering your model with a greater number of similar measures when you use a calculation group. Creating a calculation group, creating calculation items, and a few of the items that we are going to discuss, and what should we know about a format string expression, all of them can be seen in a demonstration in a few seconds now. All right, let us dive into action now. I have the same Asia table and my calendar table is connected with the Asia table through the date columns. I have just 2 base measures in my model. One of them is called total profit, and the other one is called total revenue. In this demonstration, I am not talking about downloading and installing your Tabular Editor. I assume that you have already downloaded and installed Tabular Editor. Though this can be done in both the versions TE2 or TE3, I am using TE2 for this demonstration. If you have properly installed Tabular Editor, then it should be available under external tools, and when I click here, I will be able to see Tabular Editor. When I click, I will be able to see another window in which the Tabular Editor is now able to access everything inside my model. And when I go to the tables, I will be able to see my Asia table, all the columns here, all the metadata, all the information of my model will be now under the control of a Tabular Editor, in which I can do a lot of things. However, our intention is to discuss only about calculation groups, which is nothing but a special kind of a table. So, to create a calculation group, the first thing I need to do is to open the tables area, right click, click on create new, and then calculation group. I need to give a name for that. For the sake of simplicity, I am going to call it as CSN, hit enter. As intimated, this is a special table with only one column, and the name of the column by default is name, which I can rename. I'm going to use a word called, say, my formulas. I can click on file and then save. Then you'll be able to see an option called changes saved. In addition to that, when you look at your Power BI model, you will be able to see this table is also connected to your Power BI data model. What you are doing inside the Tabular Editor will reflect in your Power BI data model also. The next thing we need to do is we need to create calculation items. I'm going to right click on the calculation items. I'm going to click on new calculation item. I would like to call my first calculation item as current value. And the expression that I'm going to use is called selected measure. I just created one simple calculation item called current value, for which I have provided an expression called selected measure. And I'm going to hit Ctrl S. That is, I'm going to save this. Then you will be able to see the expression in the bottom part of the window. I am now going to create the second calculation item, which should give me the last year profit value or last year revenue value, whatever it may be, for which I have used a function called calculate and then same period last year with reference to CY date. I am using the same concept here to create another calculation item called last year value, for which the expression is calculate selected measure, not for today, but for same period last year with reference to the date column in the calendar table called CY. This is the third measure I have created to identify the year over year variance in terms of percentages. Because this needs to be represented in terms of percentages, after typing the expression for this particular calculation item, I need to go to the property area and select format string expression. Then I should provide percentage in such a way that it starts with a double quotes, then 0.00 percentage, and then ends with a double quote. Hit enter, Ctrl S to save the value so that you can see the format string expression is populated in the bottom part of the window. Once you have done this, you will be able to create a matrix visual in which I am pulling year from the calendar table and total profit from my measures table, and then I am pulling my formulas, which is the calculation group. As you can see here, now I am talking about the profit values. Total profit is 5.65 billion and I could see it here. However, the moment I replace this values area with total revenue instead of total profit, let me uncheck profit, put a tick mark to total revenue. Matrix visual is now talking about the total revenue and the last year value for revenue and the year over year growth of revenue. Pretty cool. This is what I was mentioning as a placeholder. So where is your placeholder? Your placeholder is the values area. So if you are going to keep total profit here, your visuals will be talking about total profit and other measures that you want to see out of them. Or if you are going to keep total revenue here, then your visuals will speak about total revenue and other measures based upon total revenue. Instead of creating many measures in your model, you can create a placeholder measure in your tabular editor, and this will solve the problem. And the more important thing is we are going to combine the use of field parameters in a second, so that instead of me changing the values here manually, I am going to do it in a more interactive fashion. Let me quickly create a field parameter by going to the modeling tab, new parameter, fields. Would like to call it as my choice, and then would like to get the two measures within which I want to switch. Create this, and then I'll be able to see a slicer here. And then finally, for this visual, instead of providing values such as total revenue or total profit, I'm going to cancel that. Then I'm going to pull my choice into that area. So what is the advantage now? You'll be able to see the matrix visual is growing. Nothing to worry about that. Give me a second. I'll show you why it is happening. You need to choose total revenue. And then this matrix visual is now talking about total revenue. You need to choose total profit. Then it is talking about total profit only. You may now ask me a question. Everything looks to be good, Raja. However, do we have a choice to show only selected information in the visual? Say for example, I don't want to see the LOA value. I want to see only current value and year over year. Pretty much possible. You need to create one more slicer that should come from your calculation group, and you will be able to see all the calculation items that you have created that you can keep as a slicer. Now I'm going to click on current value, and then year over year. I'll be able to see only two columns. So currently, this visual is talking about profit and it's a year over year growth. The moment I switch to revenue value per year and year over year growth for that. This is the beauty of combining two things. One is calculation group that is going to help you to reduce the number of measures in your model, and then field parameters. Hope the delivery is clear and you will be able to apply this with your data set. With calculation groups, you can considerably reduce the number of measures in your model. Even if you create 10 calculation items, you have the liberty to show selected items in a visual. With the use of field parameters, calculation groups can be more user-friendly. Just in case this concept of calculation groups is a new learning for you, let us know your comments on this video. Please be aware that this video is only an introduction to both calculation groups as well as Tabular Editor. Stay tuned to watch our other videos on using Tabular Editor. Thank you for watching this video. See you in the next video.